The water was calm today. Dr. Kate Hudson leaned over the side of her small research boat, watching the jellyfish drift beneath the surface. Their translucent bodies pulsed gently in the clear Florida waters. Kate had been studying these creatures for 5 years now, tracking their growing numbers along the coast. She adjusted her sun hat and jotted down some notes. The jellyfish population had tripled since last summer. Something was changing in these waters, and Kate was determined to find out what. Time to get a closer look, she said to herself, preparing her diving gear. 20 minutes later, Kate slipped beneath the waves. The underwater world opened up around her, a realm of blue silence broken only by the soft hiss of her breathing apparatus. Schools of small fish darted past as she descended, following the trail of jellyfish that seemed to be moving toward deeper water. That's when she noticed the lights. At first, she thought it was just sunlight reflecting off something metallic on the seabed. But as she swam closer, she realized the lights were pulsing in a pattern. They came from what looked like a smooth metal dome partially hidden among the coral formations. Kate checked her oxygen gauge. She had enough air for a closer investigation. Swimming carefully toward the strange structure, she noticed that the jellyfish seemed to be avoiding it, creating a perfect circle of empty water around the dome. As she approached, a section of the dome suddenly slid open. Kate froze, hovering in the water. She should retreat. Every scientific instinct told her to back away from the unknown. But curiosity kept her in place as a figure emerged from the opening. It wasn't human. The creature was tall and slender with 4 arms and skin that shimmered with a bluish-green iridescence. Its large, oval eyes fixed on Kate, showing neither fear nor aggression. It raised one of its upper arms in what seemed like a greeting. Kate's heart pounded against her ribs. First contact, she had somehow stumbled upon actual aliens. After a moment of panic, her scientific mind took over. She slowly raised her hand in return, mirroring the gesture. The creature gestured for her to follow and retreated inside the dome. Kate hesitated. This could be dangerous. It could be a trap. But if she swam away now, she might never get another chance to make this discovery. Taking a deep breath of tanked air, she swam toward the opening. Inside, the dome was dry. Some kind of force field held the water back while allowing solid matter to pass through. Kate removed her breathing apparatus and mask, blinking as her eyes adjusted to the soft blue lighting. Human female. Scientist. Marine biologist. Came a voice that seemed to form directly in her mind rather than reach her through her ears. 2 aliens stood before her. The one she had seen outside and another slightly shorter with more reddish skin tones. How do you know that? How are you speaking to me? Kate asked, finding her voice surprisingly steady despite her racing pulse. Translation field, the taller one responded. We have studied your languages. I am Zixlar. This is Nevtula. We are zoologists. Zoologists? You study animals? Yes, we study all biological life forms. We are part of the Galactic Wildlife Research Consortium. Kate struggled to process this information. How long have you been here on Earth? This observation post was established 42 of your years ago, Nevtula answered. But our species has been studying Earth's wildlife for centuries. And no one has found you before now? We are careful, Zixlar said. But sometimes we allow discovery when we judge a species ready, or when accident makes concealment impossible. Kate noticed that the dome contained numerous screens showing images of Earth animals. Lions hunting on the savanna, sharks swimming in deep ocean, eagles soaring above mountains, and dozens of other creatures. So you've been watching our animals, studying them. How do you classify them in your database or whatever you use? The 2 aliens looked at each other, their skin colors shifting slightly in what Kate guessed was their form of nonverbal communication. That information is sensitive, Nevtula said finally. I'm a scientist too, Kate said. I understand sensitive classifications. You can tell me. After another silent exchange, Zixlar's shoulders dropped in what seemed like resignation. No. Our galactic catalog Earth's wildlife is classified under the designation living weapons. Kate stared at them. Weapons? Our animals are classified as weapons? This designation is usually reserved for artificially engineered bioweapons, Nevtula explained, skin flickering with what might have been discomfort. Species, created specifically for combat or military applications. But that's ridiculous, Kate exclaimed. Our animals evolved naturally over millions of years. That is the subject of significant debate among our committees, Zixlar said. Many find it difficult to accept that such capabilities developed without intervention. Kate shook her head in disbelief. What capabilities are you talking about? Zixlar touched a control panel, and the screens changed to show different animals. This creature, he said, pointing to an image of a cone snail, produces a neurotoxin so complex our biochemists cannot fully synthesize it. This one, the screen showed a bombardier beetle, creates a chemical explosion in its abdomen without harming itself. The screens continued to change. Electric eels generating stunning voltage, mantis shrimp striking with the force of a bullet, Komodo dragons with bacteria-laden saliva that cause septic shock in prey. And you think these were engineered? Created as weapons? Kate asked. The alternative explanation is difficult for many to accept, Nevtula said, that your planet naturally evolved such an unprecedented concentration of lethal adaptations. Kate leaned against a nearby surface for support. The implications were sinking in. Is that why we haven't been contacted by your galactic community or whatever it is? Earth is under provisional quarantine, Zixlar confirmed. The debate continues about whether humans engineered these weapons, or whether humans themselves are the engineers who created them. Kate felt a chill run through her body. Either way, you see us as dangerous. Not us personally, Nevtula said quickly. We are field researchers. We find Earth fascinating, but yes, the consortium's species committees are concerned. I need to tell someone about this, Kate said. People should know. That would be unwise at this stage, Zixlar warned. Full disclosure could accelerate certain protective measures. You mean invasion? Destruction? Kate's voice rose. No. Nevtula's skin pulsed with rapid color changes. The consortium does not destroy, but isolation protocols could be strengthened. Your species' future among the stars could be limited. Kate took a deep breath. Then help me understand. Help me find a way to show your people that Earth's animals aren't weapons, that they're just the result of natural evolution. The aliens exchanged looks again. Perhaps, Zixlar said slowly, that would be possible. But you would need help. I have colleagues I trust, Kate said. People who would understand the importance of this. One, Nevtula said firmly. You may bring one trusted scientist for now. Kate nodded. She already knew who to call. Jason Martinez, her colleague from the Oceanographic Institute, had the perfect combination of brilliant mind and calm temperament for this situation. Tomorrow, Kate said. I'll come back with help tomorrow. As she put her diving gear back on, preparing to leave, Kate looked again at the screens showing Earth's amazing creatures. She had never thought of them as weapons before. But seeing them through alien eyes, she could almost understand the mistake. Almost. What she couldn't yet understand was how to convince an entire galactic community that Earth wasn't a planet-sized weapons factory. But somehow, she would have to find a way. Kate barely slept that night. Her mind raced with images of the alien zoologists and their bizarre classification of Earth's wildlife. By morning, she had rehearsed a dozen different ways to explain the situation to Jason without sounding crazy. She called him at 6 a.m. Jason, I need you to come with me today. It's urgent. Kate? What's going on? Jason's voice was thick with sleep. I found something yesterday. Something big. I can't explain over the phone. There was a pause. Are you in trouble? No. But this could change everything we know about, well, everything. Please, Jason, trust me. 2 hours later, they were on Kate's research boat heading back to the spot where she had discovered the alien dome. Jason sat at the bow, watching her with concerned eyes. Kate had told him only that she had found an unusual structure underwater that needed a second opinion. "Here," Kate said, dropping anchor. "We need to dive at this spot." As they prepared their gear, Kate finally spoke the truth. "Jason, what I'm about to show you isn't a natural formation, and we're not going to be alone down there." Jason paused while checking his air tank. "What do you mean?" "I mean..." Kate took a deep breath. "I found aliens yesterday. Actual extraterrestrial beings. They've been studying Earth's animals." Jason stared at her. "If this is a joke, it's not, I promise. They're zoologists from something called the Galactic Wildlife Research Consortium, and they think Earth's animals are weapons." Jason's expression shifted from skepticism to concern. "Kate, are you feeling okay? Maybe we should head back to shore. Just dive with me, please. If I'm wrong, we'll go straight back." Reluctantly, Jason agreed. They descended together into the clear water. Kate led the way, her heart pounding as she approached the spot where she had found the dome. For a terrible moment, she feared it wouldn't be there, that she had imagined everything. Then the dome appeared, its metallic surface reflecting the filtered sunlight. Jason froze beside her, his eyes wide behind his mask. Kate gave him a moment to take it in, then motioned for him to follow her. As they approached, the same section of the dome opened. This time, Kate didn't hesitate. She swam directly inside, pulling a stunned Jason with her. Zixlar and Nevtula were waiting when they emerged from the force field. "Welcome back, Dr. Hudson," Zixlar said, the words forming in their minds. "This is your colleague?" Jason stood, dripping on the floor, mouth open, staring at the aliens. They're real," Kate finished for him. "Jason, meet Zixlar and Nevtula. They're zoologists, like us." "Impossible," Jason whispered. Then his scientific training took over. "How do you communicate with us? Some kind of technology that translates brainwaves?" "A simplified explanation, but essentially correct," Nevtula replied. "Your language centers are being directly stimulated." Jason turned to Kate. "You weren't joking about the aliens. What about the weapons part?" "That is why we agreed to meet with both of you," Zixlar said. "Please sit." The four of them gathered around a curved table that emerged from the floor. The screens that surrounded them lit up with images of Earth creatures. As we explained to Dr. Hudson, Earth's wildlife has been provisionally classified as living weapons in our galactic catalog, Nevtula began. This classification has implications for your species' future interactions with the galactic community. "But that's absurd," Jason said, finding his voice. "Our animals evolved naturally through the process of natural selection. They aren't weapons." "Perhaps a demonstration will help explain our classification," Zixlar suggested. The screens changed to show close-up footage of various creatures. "The box jellyfish," Zixlar pointed. "Its venom attacks the heart, nervous system, and skin cells simultaneously. No other planet we've studied has evolved venom this complex." The screen changed again. "The pistol shrimp creates a cavitation bubble that reaches temperatures nearly as hot as the surface of your sun." More images followed, the archerfish shooting down insects with precisely aimed water droplets, the bombardier beetle mixing chemicals to create an explosive defense, the mantis shrimp's punch moving faster than a bullet. "In our experience," Nevtula explained, "such capabilities typically only emerge through deliberate engineering. The concentration of such traits on a single planet defies statistical probability." "That's because you're thinking of them as weapons," Kate argued. "They're not. They're adaptations for survival." "Earth has unusually harsh competition for resources," Jason added. "Species had to develop these traits to survive." "That is one theory," Zixlar acknowledged. "But many in the consortium believe these creatures were engineered, either by humans or by whoever engineered humans." "Nobody engineered us," Kate protested. "The debate continues," Nevtula said gently. "That is why Earth remains quarantined. Some committees believe humans created these creatures as weapons. Others believe humans themselves are the products of engineering by an unknown species that also created the wildlife as a weapons testing ground." Jason shook his head in disbelief. Both theories are wrong. We have fossil records. We can trace evolution back millions of years. Which brings us to our request, Zixlar said. We are field researchers. Our reports have been questioned by the senior taxonomists. We need help collecting evidence that Earth's wildlife evolved naturally. Why? Kate asked. Why does it matter to you how our classification gets resolved? The few aliens exchanged glances. Because if Earth's wildlife is reclassified as natural, your species will eventually be welcomed into the galactic community, Neftula explained. If the weapons classification stands, Earth will remain isolated indefinitely. Or worse, Zixlar added quietly. Some species are advocating for more permanent containment measures. A chill ran through Kate. They want to destroy Earth? Not destroy, Neftula clarified quickly. But certain genetic modification protocols have been proposed to gentle Earth's wildlife and possibly humans as well. That's horrible, Jason said. You can't just change our entire planet's ecosystem. We agree, Zixlar said, which is why we need your help. What can we do? Kate asked. We need more scientists, Neftula said. Experts who can help document Earth's evolutionary history in ways our committees will accept. The senior taxonomists are sending an investigation team. We must be prepared. How long do we have? Jason asked. The team arrives in 7 days, Zixlar replied. They will spend 14 Earth days conducting their assessment before making their recommendation. Kate and Jason looked at each other. The task seemed impossible. Proving all of Earth's evolutionary history in just a week of preparation. We'll need help, Kate said finally. More than just the two of us. How many? Neftula asked cautiously. At least one more, Kate replied. Dr. Alan Grant. He's the leading evolutionary biologist at our university. If anyone can help prove Earth's wildlife evolved naturally, it's him. The aliens conferred silently for a moment, their skin changing colors rapidly. 3 humans total. Zixlar agreed finally. No more for now. Kate nodded, already planning her approach to Dr. Grant. Convincing him would be even harder than it had been with Jason. But they had no choice. The future of Earth's relationship with the galaxy and possibly the genetic future of all life on the planet depended on it. We'll come back tomorrow, Kate promised, with Dr. Grant. As they prepared to leave, Jason paused. Just one more question. If Earth's wildlife is so dangerous, why did you risk studying it up close? Why not just observe from orbit? Neftula's skin rippled with what seemed like amusement. Because dangerous or not, Earth's life forms are the most fascinating we have ever encountered. Some things are worth the risk. Kate smiled at that. Perhaps there was hope after all. Convincing Dr. Alan Grant proved easier than Kate had expected. The distinguished evolutionary biologist had spent 30 years defending the theory of natural selection against critics. When presented with actual aliens who questioned Earth's evolutionary history, his eyes lit up with the fire of scientific challenge. So they think our animals are too dangerous to have evolved naturally? Dr. Grant said, stroking his gray beard as Kate and Jason finished explaining the situation in his office. Fascinating. Simply fascinating. You believe us? Kate asked, surprised by his calm reaction. My dear, I've always believed we weren't alone in the universe. The mathematical probability against it is too great. He smiled. Though I admit, I didn't expect first contact to involve a debate on evolutionary theory. The next day, the 3 scientists dove to the underwater alien facility. Dr. Grant showed no fear, only excitement as they passed through the force field into the dome. Remarkable, he murmured, studying Zixlar and Neftula with keen eyes. Your physical structures suggest convergent evolution with Earth cephalopods. Fascinating. Dr. Alan Grant. Zixlar greeted him. Your reputation in evolutionary biology is noted in our database. You've been studying our scientific publications? Dr. Grant asked. All publicly available information, Neftula confirmed. We have monitored your internet since its creation. Then you must know about our fossil record. Dr. Grant said. The evidence for natural evolution is overwhelming. We are aware of your fossil collections, Zixlar acknowledged. But many committee members believe they could be fabrications or misinterpretations. Dr. Grant frowned. I've spent my life studying those collections. I can assure you they're genuine. The investigation team will require more than assurances, Nevtula said gently. Their meeting lasted hours as the 3 humans and 2 aliens discussed strategy. Dr. Grant proposed bringing the investigation team to several key fossil sites. Kate suggested demonstrations of how natural selection could produce complex adaptations through incremental changes. Jason recommended showing the aliens Earth's less dangerous creatures, the ones that had evolved without weapons. There's a problem, Zixlar said as their planning session was ending. Your government has detected our communications with the incoming investigation team. What does that mean? Kate asked. It means we're no longer working in secret, Nevtula explained. Your military knows something is coming. They barely made it back to shore before black SUVs surrounded them. Men in dark suits approached as they pulled their boat onto the beach. Dr. Hudson, Dr. Martinez, Dr. Grant, a stern woman said, stepping forward. I'm Admiral Elaine Baker, National Science Foundation. We need to talk. Hours later, Kate found herself sitting in a hastily assembled command center inside a military base. Admiral Baker had listened to their story without interruption, then made a single phone call. Now they were waiting for someone called the Director to arrive. So these aliens think our wildlife is too deadly to be natural, Admiral Baker mused, reviewing the notes Kate had taken during their meetings. And they've been watching us for decades. They're not hostile, Kate insisted. They're scientists, like us. Let's hope the ones coming to investigate feel the same way, the Admiral replied. The door opened and a tall man in a civilian suit entered. I'm Director Andrew Coleman, Special Sciences Division, he said. And it seems we have a first contact situation with Galactic Zoologists of all things. Once he was briefed, Director Coleman made a surprising decision. We need to go public with this, at least partially. If an alien delegation is coming to assess our wildlife, we need the world's best biologists ready to make our case. Won't that cause panic? Jason asked. Less than if we try to hide 7 alien scientists landing at Yellowstone, Director Coleman replied. The next days passed in a blur. A carefully worded announcement was made about visiting scientists from an international consortium coming to study American wildlife. A team of Earth's top biologists was assembled under the cover of a special environmental summit. Dr. Grant was named the lead scientific liaison. 5 days after their initial discovery, Kate and Jason watched from the banks of a river in Yellowstone National Park as a shimmer appeared in the sky. A vessel like a silver teardrop descended silently, landing in a clearing. The gathered scientists and officials held their breath as a panel slid open in the side of the craft. 7 aliens emerged, each different from Zixlar and Nevtula. The leader was tall with mottled brown skin and 4 eyes set in a rigid face. I am Grand Taxonomist Vrock of the Galactic Wildlife Research Consortium, the alien announced, its words forming directly in everyone's minds. We are here to determine the true classification of Earth's fauna. Director Coleman stepped forward. On behalf of humanity, welcome to Earth. Vrock's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Your cooperation is noted. We will begin our assessment immediately. The aliens spread out, each holding devices that hummed and flashed. Kate and Jason followed Vrock along with Dr. Grant and Admiral Baker. Your field researchers, Zixlar and Nevtula, claim Earth's wildlife evolved naturally, Vrock said as they walked. This contradicts our standard classification protocols. We have extensive evidence to support their claim, Dr. Grant replied. I've prepared fossil samples and genetic analyses. Vrock stopped suddenly, raising a hand for silence. Ahead, a wolf pack was surrounding a lone elk near the tree line. Observe, Vrock said. Pack hunting behavior with coordinated flanking movements. Advanced tactical reasoning. They watched as the wolves executed a perfect ambush, bringing down the elk with precision bites to the hamstring and throat. This is natural predatory behavior, Dr. Grant explained, developed over thousands of generations through Through weapons development, Vrock interrupted. The precision of the attack points, the coordination, the specialized dental structures for maximum damage. Kate felt her heart sink. They're not weapons. They're adaptations for survival. Vrock turned all four eyes toward her. On most planets, species adapt to coexist. They find ecological niches that minimize conflict. Only on weapons development worlds do we see such efficient killing mechanisms. Later that day, they observed a grizzly bear defending its territory, a golden eagle diving to catch a fish, and a rattlesnake striking a rabbit. With each demonstration, the alien scientists seemed more convinced that Earth was a planet of weapons. The problem, Jason whispered to Kate as they watched Vrock scanning a beehive, is that they're looking at everything through the lens of warfare. They see weapons where we see survival. Then we need to change their perspective, Kate replied, an idea forming in her mind. That night, she approached Dr. Grant and Admiral Baker with a proposal. We're showing them the wrong animals, she explained. We need to show them the failures of evolution, the creatures that prove no one designed this system. Admiral Baker nodded slowly. You want to prove Earth's wildlife evolved naturally by showing how inefficient some of it is. Exactly, Kate said. No weapons designer would create the failures we see in nature. It's worth a try, Dr. Grant agreed. Because right now, I fear Grand Taxonomist Vrock is leaning toward maintaining the living weapons classification. Kate looked out the window at the alien ship glowing softly in the moonlight. They had 9 days left to change the aliens' minds and possibly save Earth from quarantine or worse. The next morning, Kate woke with renewed purpose. She had spent half the night researching the perfect examples of evolutionary dead ends and inefficiencies in Earth's wildlife. Now she needed to convince Grand Taxonomist Vrock to look at them. You want to show them the platypus? Admiral Baker asked during their morning briefing, looking skeptical. And pandas, koalas, sloths, and dozens of other species that make no sense as weapons, Kate explained. No designer would create animals that are so poorly adapted. It's a sound strategy. Dr. Grant supported her. If they believe our animals were engineered as weapons, showing them the failures of evolution might change their perspective. Director Coleman nodded slowly. I'll arrange transportation, but we need more than just this approach. We need multiple lines of evidence, Jason spoke up. I've been thinking about the deep ocean. If I could take some of them to see the really strange creatures down there, the ones that live around hydrothermal vents, they might understand that those life forms couldn't possibly be weapons. Good, Admiral Baker said. Dr. Grant, what about your fossil evidence? I've arranged for samples from our major evolutionary transitions to be brought here, Dr. Grant replied. If they can see the incremental changes over millions of years, it might help our case. Kate had one more idea. We also need Simon Wells. The wildlife filmmaker? Director Coleman asked. Why? Because he can help us show the interconnectedness of ecosystems, Kate explained. If the aliens see how every species fits into a larger web, they might understand these aren't weapons but parts of a complex system. By noon, their plan was in motion. Kate and Dr. Grant took Grand Taxonomist Vrock and 2 other alien scientists to the San Diego Zoo's Special Research Facility. Jason led another group to the Monterey Bay Aquarium's Deep Sea Research Station. Simon Wells, who had arrived on the first available flight, began setting up simultaneous broadcasts from ecosystems around the world. This creature, Kate said, pointing to the platypus in its enclosure. It has a duck's bill, a beaver's tail, lays eggs like a reptile but produces milk like a mammal, and the males have venomous spurs. Does this seem like efficient weapon design? To you? Vrock studied the platypus with all 4 eyes. It is unusual. Perhaps an early prototype, or the result of evolution following different paths in isolated environments, Dr. Grant suggested. Australia was cut off from other continents for millions of years, allowing unique evolutionary paths. They moved on to the koalas. These animals eat only eucalyptus leaves, which provide almost no nutrition and are poisonous to most creatures, Kate explained. They sleep 20 hours a day because they get so little energy from their food. They've evolved specialized digestive systems just to survive on this terrible diet. Why would they evolve such an inefficient feeding strategy? Asked one of the other aliens, a slender scientist named Morel. Because they face no competition for that food source, Dr. Grant explained. Natural selection doesn't always find the best solution, just one that works well enough in a specific environment. By mid-afternoon, Simon Wells had set up large screens showing simultaneous broadcasts from the Amazon rainforest, African savanna, Arctic tundra, and Australian outback. The aliens watched, fascinated as he narrated the complex relationships between species in each ecosystem. Notice how the removal of wolves from Yellowstone in the last century caused riverbanks to erode, Simon explained, showing before and after footage. Without wolves, the elk population exploded, leading to overgrazing of willows and aspens that kept riverbanks stable. The predators are necessary for system stability, the third alien scientist Glev observed. Exactly, Kate said, eagerly. These aren't random weapons. They're interconnected parts of a system that evolved together over millions of years. Meanwhile, Jason's team was making progress at the deep-sea research station. The aliens were visibly perplexed by creatures, like the blobfish, which appears normal at crushing deep-sea pressures but becomes a gelatinous mess when brought to the surface. This design makes no sense as a weapon, Jason explained. But it makes perfect sense as an adaptation to extreme pressure environments. Dr. Grant's fossil presentations were equally effective. He had arranged the bones of whales showing their evolution from land mammals with the gradual reduction of hind limbs and transformation of forelimbs into flippers. These changes occurred over millions of years, he explained. We can see each incremental step in the fossil record. No designer would transform a land mammal into a sea creature this way. They would start from scratch. By evening, the scientists gathered to share their progress. The mood was cautiously optimistic. I believe we're making headway, Dr. Grant said. Morel seemed particularly interested in the fossil evidence. Glev was fascinated by the ecosystem, relationships, Simon added, especially the way removing one species can collapse an entire system. Kate nodded, and Vrock actually admitted the platypus was difficult to explain as a weapons design. But we're not there yet, Jason cautioned. I overheard Vrock discussing evolutionary pressure weapons testing with the others. They may now believe Earth evolved naturally, but they still think the harsh competition here was deliberately set up to produce living weapons. Admiral Baker frowned. So instead of believing our animals are designed weapons, they now think Earth itself is a weapons testing ground? It's progress, Kate insisted. At least they're accepting the evidence for evolution. Director Coleman cleared his throat. I've received word that more aliens are arriving tomorrow. Apparently, news of Earth's classification review has attracted attention from higher levels of their consortium. Kate felt her heart sink. More skeptics to convince. Not necessarily, Dr. Grant said thoughtfully. If our evidence is compelling, enough more witnesses might actually help our case. The next morning, a second ship arrived, larger and more ornate than the first. From it emerged 3 aliens with elaborate garments and devices that Kate guessed signified high rank. Vrock bowed deeply as they approached. Honored observers, he greeted them. We did not expect your presence for this classification review. The potential reclassification of Earth has drawn significant interest, said the central figure, taller than the others with iridescent markings across its face. If a naturally evolved world has produced such capabilities, it changes many of our assumptions. Kate exchanged hopeful glances with Jason and Dr. Grant. If even their leadership was considering the possibility of natural evolution, perhaps they had a chance. The lead observer turned to Kate. You are the human who first discovered our research station? Yes, Kate replied. I'm Dr. Kate Hudson, marine biologist. Show us your world, Dr. Hudson, the observer said. We wish to understand how natural forces created what appears to our eyes as a planet of weapons. Kate took a deep breath. They had 5 days left before the investigation team would make their final decision. 5 days to convince these new important observers that Earth's deadly, wonderful diversity was the product of natural evolution, not design. "Let's start with the failures," she said with a smile. "The evolutionary mistakes that prove no one designed this system." The final days of the alien investigation passed in a whirlwind of demonstrations, presentations, and heated debates. Kate, Jason, Dr. Grant, and the rest of the Earth team worked tirelessly to show the visiting aliens every aspect of Earth's evolutionary history. The presence of the honored observers changed the dynamic of the investigation. Unlike Grand Taxonomist Vrock, who seemed determined to find evidence supporting the weapons classification, the observers asked thoughtful questions and appeared genuinely curious about Earth's unique evolutionary path. On the morning of the final day, Kate stood at the edge of a mountain lake in Yellowstone, watching a moose wade through the shallow water to feed on aquatic plants. Beside her stood the lead observer, who had asked Kate to call him Zen. "Your planet contradicts much of what we believed about evolution across the galaxy," Zen said, his thoughts flowing gently into Kate's mind. "The competitive pressure here is unlike anything we have encountered." "Is that why you classified our animals as weapons?" Kate asked. "Partially," Zen admitted. "Most life-bearing worlds we have studied show evidence of cooperative evolution. Species find niches that minimize direct competition. Predator-prey relationships exist, but rarely with such intensity." Kate watched as an osprey dove from the sky, snatching a fish from the lake with perfect precision. "Our planet has experienced 5 major extinction events," she explained. "Each time, life had to start over with the survivors. It created intense evolutionary pressure." "Yes, Dr. Grant explained this history. It is unprecedented in our records." Zen turned all 4 of his eyes to Kate. "Tell me honestly, do you not find it strange to live among such dangerous creatures?" Kate smiled. "We're dangerous creatures too, Zen. We evolved in this same system. But we don't see our wildlife as weapons, we see them as wonders. Each species is a unique solution to the challenge of survival." Later that day, all the aliens and human representatives gathered in a large meeting room set up near the alien vessels. Director Coleman had arranged for world leaders to join via secure video conference. The time had come for the final decision. Grand Taxonomist Vrock stepped forward first. "After thorough investigation, my team has reached a conclusion regarding Earth's proper classification." The room fell silent. Kate held her breath. "While we entered this investigation expecting to confirm the living weapons designation," Vrock continued, "the evidence presented has required us to reconsider. The fossil record, genetic analysis, and ecological relationships all suggest that Earth's wildlife did indeed evolve through natural processes, albeit under unusually harsh competitive conditions." A wave of relief washed over Kate. She exchanged happy glances with Jason and Dr. Grant. "However," Vrock added, "we believe these conditions were not entirely natural. Our recommendation is to classify Earth as a directed evolution experiment, a planet where some ancient civilization established the initial conditions specifically to generate species with advanced combat capabilities." Kate's heart sank. They had convinced the aliens that Earth's animals had evolved naturally, but the aliens still couldn't accept that the process itself wasn't designed for weapons creation. Sen stepped forward. "We have heard the investigation team's recommendation. Now the observers will make the final determination." He gestured, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the room, showing Earth with glowing points of light highlighting various ecosystems. "Earth presents us with a profound challenge to our understanding of evolutionary principles," Zen began. "For centuries, the consortium has operated under the assumption that natural evolution favors efficiency and cooperation over what appears to us as excessive defensive and offensive capabilities." The hologram shifted to show various Earth animals: the electric eel, bombardier beetle, mantis shrimp, and dozens more. "We now recognize this assumption was based on limited data. Earth is not a weapons development planet. It is something far more rare and valuable, a crucible world." Murmurs ran through the room. Even Vrock looked surprised. "A crucible world," Zen explained, is a planet where unique geological and astronomical factors create conditions of extreme evolutionary pressure. Such worlds are theoretical in our scientific literature. Earth is the first confirmed example we have found. The hologram changed again to show Earth's history. The asteroid strikes, the continental drift, the ice ages. Earth has experienced an unusual number of extinction events, each creating evolutionary bottlenecks and new competitive landscapes. The result is not a planet of weapons, but a planet of remarkable adaptability and diversity. Zen turned to address the human representatives directly. Humanity's own evolution in this crucible explains much about your species, your adaptability, your resilience, your curiosity. You are not the engineers of living weapons. You are the product of the same extraordinary evolutionary forces that shaped your fellow Earth species. Director Coleman stepped forward. What does this new classification mean for Earth's relationship with the galactic community? It means, Zen replied, that the quarantine will be lifted. Earth will be invited to join the Galactic Wildlife Research Consortium as a special research partner. Your planet contains evolutionary innovations that could benefit all species in the galaxy. The room erupted in applause and cheers. Kate felt tears of relief and joy spring to her eyes. Jason squeezed her shoulder, and Dr. Grant beamed with pride. 1 year later, Kate stood on the observation deck of the expanded underwater research facility. What had once been a small dome hidden among the coral was now a major scientific outpost with researchers from 24 alien species. Zixlar approached, his skin rippling with pleased colors. The latest survey team just returned from the Amazon. They discovered 17 species unknown to either human or consortium science. Any new weapons? Kate asked with a smile. A frog with venom that can stop a creature 10 times its size in seconds, Zixlar replied. The xenobiologists are both terrified and ecstatic. They both laughed. In the year since Earth's reclassification, the initial fear of Earth's wildlife had given way to scientific fascination. The consortium had established research stations in every major ecosystem on the planet, all staffed by mixed teams of human and alien scientists. I still don't think they fully understand, Kate said, watching a new group of alien visitors flinch as a shark swam past the observation window. Understand what? Zixlar asked. That we don't see these animals as dangerous or scary. They're just home. Zixlar's skin darkened thoughtfully. Perhaps that is the most remarkable adaptation of all, that humans evolved not just to survive among such creatures, but to love them. Outside the window, a pod of dolphins raced past, their movements swift and graceful. To the watching aliens, they might appear as perfectly evolved underwater hunters. But to Kate, they were simply one more beautiful thread in the tapestry of Earth's extraordinary life. Welcome to the crucible world, she whispered, as much to herself as to the universe that was finally beginning to understand her planet's wild heart.